Hey guys, I'm Dov, and today I'm back with more Total War Warhammer 2 online action. We're back once again with the Empire, another viewer-submitted replay here. This time the Empire is going to be taking on the Wood Elves on the Arnhem or Arnhem map. I'm not sure 100% how you pronounce it, but nonetheless, let's get to the builds here. So for the Empire, if I can find their leader, looks like Boris Todbringer hidden in the forest here. Very solid choice against the Wood Elves because of his defensive stats. He's also got a shield and a really cool looking hand-and-a-half sword. I have to say, I've always liked Boris' sword. Look at that hilt there. And anyway, he's rocking an awesome mustache, his eye patch, and the Midland Runefang, as well as Foe Seeker. He's also got a light wizard here with Nets and Barona's Time Warp. We've got two groups of Knights of the Blazing Sun up here on the high ground. On the low ground, the Hellblaster Volley you saw in the opening, a couple of units of Spearmen, Flagellants mixed with Swordsmen in the front, the actual Sigmar Sons. Got some Free Company up in Vanguard as well, a couple units of Empire Knights, some more Spearmen, some more Free Company, and yeah, that's pretty much it. For the Wood Elves, you can see they're mostly up on the hill here. We've got the Glady leading a couple contingents of Hawk Riders, with some Eternal Guards, no shields. We've got Hagbane Tips and Starfire Shafts, Sword Dancers and Spear Dancers, as well as some Glade Riders, no Hagbane Tips there, and three groups of Way Watchers. I believe there's an Amber Wizard around here somewhere. Yep, looks like a Spellslinger Lore of Beasts with just Flock of Doom. So without further ado, I guess the battle's already getting underway, but you can see the High Elves, typically both armies on this map will deploy up on this high ground, but this Empire player is subverting that quite nicely by deploying the bulk of his force down here on the low ground. With this artillery advantage, it is actually going to be able to kind of force the High Elf player to come down. He's moving currently the Hellblaster Volley Gun away from the cliff's edge so that the High Elf player can't just sit up here up top and shoot missiles down at him. He's actually going to move far enough away that like even the Way Watchers will have to come down off the hill to be able to shoot at this Hellblaster Volley Gun, which is exactly what you want to do in this situation. Don't really want to give the Wood Elves the kind of engagement they want up here, so very good use of terrain here by the Empire player to kind of force the the Wood Elves to come down. And yeah, you can see the Hellblaster Volley Gun just about in position, going to start to turn around and take shots at the Eagles coming over the cliff's edge there. So you can see them kind of descending, and the Hellblaster Volley Gun going to be opening up shots. And oh man, these Free Company are about to walk into the line of fire. This can't be good. What did your RO tell you? Oh, don't walk in front of the guns when they're shooting. Somehow only one guy actually got killed by that, but hopefully the others learn their lesson because friendly fire is very real. You don't want to walk right in front of a Hellblaster while it's going off. But anyway, nonetheless, effective fire going down, especially from those Free Company. But the Hellblaster Volley Gun also doing some nice work against those Hawk Riders so far, zoning them out quite nicely, as the rest of the Wood Elves are forced to come down kind of through this narrow pass right here. I mean, I guess they could try and come up all the way and around and kind of take a little bit more of a wider front engagement here, but we'll see. So far the Empire player hanging back, not really kind of bottling them up in this tighter area, which, I mean, granted, you would be taking a downhill engagement there, but you could potentially force all these guys to just kind of stay in this little narrow gap right here where the Hellblaster will just destroy most of them. That being said, the Hellblaster not quite in range to shoot up directly into this narrowest point here, so yeah, looks like the Hellblaster moving back even slightly, but now going to start to open up shots on the Eternal Guards there. So yeah, the Wood Elves are on a bit of a timer here. They need to start pushing this Empire position and do something to take down this Hellblaster Volley Gun. You know, whether that's coming here with the Way Watchers and try and snipe it out with missiles or whatever, but the longer the Wood Elf player, you know, just kind of advances slowly like this, the more shots they're going to take from that Hellblaster Volley Gun. So you can see a few kills already. And the corpse is laying awkwardly on the hillside there, but yeah, it's going to be some pretty effective fire here. And the Hellblaster Volley Gun, kind of an interesting choice here. You know, it's a heavy armor piercing. You wouldn't necessarily expect to be good against the Wood Elves, but it is very accurate. Can dish out a very high amount of DPS, and you know, could be even potentially useful against tree type builds as well. So I kind of see what he was going for there. You can see the Eternal Guards forming up, Glade Guards opening up shots on the Flagellants, which is pretty decent. Meanwhile, the Way Watchers still mostly hidden, going to start to come down the hill here and to take pot shots at the Hellblaster volley guns. You can see, though, Free Company on station, just a beautiful volley going down the line as they return fire on these Hawk Riders here, trying to compromise the Empire position. All the Knights are just staying solid, but here comes the Way Watcher fire starting to open up on that Hellblaster volley gun. Still firing, though, and, you know, they're getting some really good shots, especially on those Glade Guards in the back. We'll watch some of the shots land here. Assuming they're going to pop a few more off. And they might get routed off, actually, because that Way Watcher fire is pretty heavy there. Looks like another Flock of Doom going down in the front line. You can see the Blaster is still online for the time being, despite the leadership issues they're having and despite the fire they're taking. Being able to stay online, the Empire Knights come over to try and push the Way Watchers away. There's not really a whole lot of answer to the Empire Knights over here, which is one of the main risks of splitting up your forces like this. There's really nothing to stop these guys from pushing through this pocket. I mean, maybe the Glady could come in and drop a Prey of Anathrema, and then they could turn around and shoot. Would be pretty effective, but you can see the Glade Riders here did manage to catch the one group. But this other group, I'm not sure exactly why these guys are turning away. They had a pretty good chance to charge uphill there. But Hellblaster volley gun still online, taking some pot shots at the Glady. At this point, the infantry battle is going very heavily in favor of the Empire, not to mention because the Knights of the Blazing Sun had come and collapsed the flank here, got a beautiful charge on those Sword Dancers. You can see are suffering very badly. The Free Company just dishing out a huge amount of damage on these very low armor, high-value targets, especially these Spear Dancers here. They definitely don't want to just sit here and take this Free Company fire, but a lot of the Wood Elf units being wrapped up over on this flank at this point. You can see the balance power starting to turn in the Empire's favor. The Hawk Riders are going to come down. They do actually blow up one of the unit models of the Hellblaster, but State Troop Spearmen Reserve right on station to start to push these guys back. Yeah, pretty good stuff. Very nice defensive play there. And the Free Company also just perpetually providing that Overwatch fire, continuing to fire in on those Hawk Riders there. So despite the Empire Knights, looks like they didn't actually get through to the right situation here. The Way Watchers still online, but an overcast net going down. I'm not 100% sure why this has been cast. There's not really, I mean, these Empire Knights could now come over, and obviously with them pinned in place, could catch them a lot easier, but you probably want to have them a little bit closer, and it doesn't look like the Empire Knights are actually responding, so a little bit of a burnt net there, I would say. But nonetheless, at this point, the balance power is pretty heavily in the Empire's favor. It's going to be very hard for them to lose this battle at this point. You can see the Free Company pushing through. I mean, Way Watchers still have a lot of ammo left, but they would literally have to shoot through almost this entire army single-handedly, and there's nothing to protect them from this heavy cavalry. Once the Knights of the Blazing Sun and the Empire Knights and so on get over to that area, they're pretty much GG at that point. So Hawk Riders getting charged by the Empire Knights here, trying to spring the Free Company loose. And yeah, Knights of the Blazing Sun still making their way. Looks like they actually decided to finish off that Spellsinger real quick, which is a pretty solid choice. The Light Wizard in a little bit of a dangerous situation if the Way Watchers all decide to focus on him, but it looks like they have all got different targets in the moment. Some of them even shooting into the Free Company militia, which, I mean, they will do some good damage. They'll be able to shut them down, but the Free Company, a very cheap unit, definitely not something you want to be using your expensive Way Watcher ammo on, especially when there's Empire Knights on the field, but not sure what that was. I guess a Barona's Time Warp, or a net or something? Oh yeah, it looks like actually these Way Watchers got netted there. So the Empire Knight's going to charge through. I'm not even sure whether they'll get home before, you know, before the end there, but they do just go ahead and turn and charge this group of Way Watchers that the Light Wizard had pinned down. Then they're going to go ahead and follow up onto the next group of Way Watchers that's very close. You can see Free Company opening up some brutal shots on these Way Watchers here from the low ground. So at this point, the Wood Elf leadership's very, very low. Pretty much all the units from this side have been scattered to the winds. The Glady tried to come down and finish off the Blaster one more time, which had come back from route and remounted the guns there, but unfortunately she's the one that gets routed off, and that does trigger critical army losses for the Wood Elves. So very well played to Andrew. Big thanks to sending that one in, rather. A super fun replay and very nice use of the Hellblaster volley gun in a matchup where you might not necessarily expect it to be super effective. I do think this build has some potential weaknesses, but overall a very well balanced build, and you do have plenty of heavy cavalry, the you know, ranged pressure, and especially the artillery pressure on the Wood Elves. It's a big benefit. Yeah, I mean, Free Company, a couple of them kind of got worked over a little bit there, but these two that stayed in a defensive position, just continuously harassing the Hawk Riders there, providing some good fire into some other areas, did very, very well. Of course, Flagellant's doing okay in the front line, did get shot up, or at least one group got shot up a little bit, but they were able to win that infantry engagement pretty decisively there, especially with the support of the Knights of the Blazing Sun, who 88 and 80 kills respectively. Very good stuff. 48 on the Hellblaster volley gun. I believe it started with 1 XP chevron, if I remember right. Managed to pick up another 2 over the course of the battle, so that's, you can't argue with that. Certainly very effective. And yeah, for the Wood Elf player, decent build overall. I kind of see what they were going for there. I do think that it's a little bit lacking in counter cavalry tools, and just, you know, the Wood Elf player kind of getting pulled in 2 different directions, splitting the Way Watchers away from the rest of the army. You know, I get that he was trying to go after the volley gun, and he just about had shut it down with the Way Watchers, but without the support, I mean, I guess the Hawk Riders were close by to try and see off the Empire Knights. Didn't end up actually being that bad, because the Empire player didn't really press his advantage there, but definitely was pretty risky, and just overall, I think, you know, this build is a little bit lacking in counter cavalry tools. Like I said, I mean, you do have plenty of anti-large AP infantry. There's not really a lot of high mass units to stop them up, and you're also relying very heavily on some expensive range units that can potentially be compromised by heavy cavalry. That's why recently, especially against more cav-focused armies like the Empire, I've been favoring tree-type builds. They seem to be pretty effective. I mean, obviously, you'll have to watch out for specifically AP missiles, but handgunners aren't a super common pick in this matchup. Just AP troops in general aren't a super common pick in this matchup. Knights of the Blazing Sun do have fire damage, and the volley gun could potentially be dangerous from this specific build to trees. But of course, if you have the Firebark Elders, you don't really have to worry about the fire damage too much, and you know, you have the high mass, the physical resistance, the high armor, and everything to really be able to tank some damage with the tree type units. So I think that might be more the way to go against the Empire. I'll have to do some testing and see for myself, but anyway, thank you very much once again for sending that one in. Hope you guys enjoyed watching. If you do like the sort of content, be sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification button, so every time I upload a new video, you'll be notified. Thanks again for watching. We'll see you next time.